Let's do this! Hello everyone and welcome to 4+. Today we are returning to the land of the birds. No, not those angry ones. The weird ones. Yeah, those rascals. Weird Birds is created by the wonderful creator Arkesuchus? Probably still butchering that name. My apologies. But this video will be focusing on part 2 of Weird Birds, which is a new protagonist and a new story, so you don't really have to have seen or read the first one to understand what's going on in this one, but it definitely helps. If you do need a recap on the first one, we do have a video on that already, so be sure to check that out. We'll get some more lore and, a little bit better understanding of what's going on. But again, it's not required. But as for a brief introduction, my name is Mr. Ratio, the third narrator on this channel, other than Mr. Plus and Mr. Minus, who I am hijacking the channel from today. But as usual, we hope you all enjoyed today's video because it's going to be a hell of a time. So grab your snacks and get comfy and enjoy. Part 2 begins with a different writer/protagonist making a post of being at the beach with her brother, when her brother discovers some strange isopods in the water. The isopods resemble prehistoric ones that used to travel on the ocean floor, those like horseshoe crab looking ones. She chalks it up to whatever, but during the beach outing, some strange men in globe looking outfits show up with police as well, and they begin ushering people off the beach. Afterwards, the brother reveals he got more photos of strange creatures in the water, and the poster questions if these are really prehistoric creatures in Florida. Honestly, all this happening in Florida is not shocking in the slightest. Kind of an average Florida Tuesday. Back at the house, the writer explains that there are more strange noises going on outside, possibly pelicans. After some searching, she discovers the noise to be coming from a huge toucan, which she is able to grab a photo of. I have no idea why on earth this girl thinks a toucan looks like that, but that is not it. A few posts afterwards go over some more mysterious animals that the writer keeps encountering in and outside her house. One being this weird gecko the thing lizard, and next a snake that starts jumping around the house. What kind of place is this? The writer's brother then tells her that he doesn't want to take the trash out because he ran into more birds outside. The writer doesn't believe him, even though she's had multiple encounters with these weird creatures, but gaslight, I guess. Then the bombshell drops that there are multiple reports and documentation of strange prehistoric creatures across the country. Mikey! It's Mikey! Mikey reference! She then asks who is Mikey, and Mikey is a fucking national treasure, so you better pump your brakes, girl. But her brother says he has a surprise to show everyone, and it turns out this little devil ran outside, flashed one of the creatures in the face for a pic, and then ran back inside. So her father decides to call the cops because of these, strange birds that just keep appearing. But Dad gets pissed because the cops say that they're too busy dealing with a screaming cougar outside, so therefore they aren't able to send anyone. The family hunkers down for the night, and the next morning all seems good, but a little quiet. Her little brother is playing Rust, Mom is in a lot of pain and upset, likely due to her pregnancy. Mom turns out to be 6 months along in her pregnancy, so Dad leaves to go get her some meds for the pain, while the little brother screams and rages at Rust. Once Dad returns, he seems upset about something, but he doesn't go into details. And him and their mom leave to go to the hospital to be looked at because at this point she's in agony. But after some time, the brother and sister get antsy when the parents haven't returned, and it turns out the parents are gonna have to spend the night at the ER. Great. What could go wrong? Oh, that's what. That is very, very wrong. This abomination decides at all times, right now is a fantastic time to stalk the protagonist and her brother through the screen door. They are able to shut the door, but the bird is still making those sounds, and it's getting louder, and it's scratching the door at this point. So after a phone call, their dad is on his way back home, while Mom stays at the hospital, and the writer and her brother are hunkering down with a makeshift flamethrower. The creature is able to break down the screen door and is attacking the main door at this point, and the dad finally arrives, but he sees the bird is eating a whole ass gator. But he's able to make it inside, and they're finally able to get the guns out of the safe. So after some deliberating and their father trying to be tough for his kids, but understandably, he's pretty shaken and scared, he tells the kids he's going to go upstairs to shoot one of the 2 birds in the house currently. The other issue is he only has a pistol, and the shotgun is upstairs with the birds. Great. Dad and the writer give each other a hug, and he tells her to stay with her brother in the bathroom while he deals with the birds. Once he leaves, they hear some gunshots upstairs and yelling, and are instructed to hide from their dad from upstairs. But footsteps are heard coming down, and what arrives is not their father. She's able to get a quick picture of the creature as her and her brother hide in the shower behind the shower curtains. But the door to the bathroom is unlocked. So she calls the house phone a few times to try and distract the bird, but it seems injured and it collapses, and there's no movement for a while. She and her brother decide to try and rush out before the second bird comes downstairs, and as a means to distract and disorient the bird, they're going to flash it with the phone camera. But before they're able to do that, the bird barges in and it pins her brother down. Their dad rushes downstairs and he's able to knock the bird off of him. But in the process, he locks himself in the bathroom with the bird as the kids escape. She wasn't able to hear his final words, just gurgling as he shut the door. Understandably, the kids are shaken and in shock. Their dad is gone. She warns everyone if they see this creature to kill it on sight. But thankfully there's no other creatures in the house anymore, so she sends her brother to go get the gun. While this is happening, the bird that's locked away is talking. It's saying the name of her mother over and over.
What? What the fuck?
It slowly begins to croak and paw at the door, but then slowly fades to silence. Dead. The writer and her brother decide to barricade themselves in the upstairs bathroom instead for the rest of the night and try to relax and process what happened, and how she's going to tell her mom about the news of their dad. After some time, they hear some strange tapping and cluttering up the stairs and in the hallway, so they decide to take a peek. But before she takes a peek, she reveals her name is Bailey, and her brother is Maxwell, in case they end up dead or missing. Turns out a handful of these weird horseshoe crabs in the hallway are scurrying around. Some time passes, and suddenly some men break into the house, and we get a recording of these deep, distorted voices talking and rummaging through the house. They begin trash-talking their father, and Max begins crying while Bailey is obviously pissed. The mysterious men talk about coast-to-coast attacks and begin cleaning the inside of the house, pressure washing, picking up the crabs, etc. Bailey listens to them talk for hours about stuff like ruptures, Neocene, Novacene, and Mesozoic, probably being related to the globe guys at the beach earlier. The next day, Bailey says the men have finally left and her and Max are figuring out their next steps and that their dad's body has been removed. Max finds a report in the trash from an organization called WEHO. WEHO? WEHO? I don't know. Which goes over an incident report on different locations all over Florida and multiple dinosaur species being seen. It also goes over what to do, such as collect evidence, capture specimens, clean up bodies, etc. A note at the bottom of the page says if a Class 5 organism breaches the rift, to contact Dr. Redacted. Bailey brings up that the incident report says January, and questions if these guys are from the future, even though her posts are all being posted in January as well. Max finds another drawing in the trash, which appears to be a crude diagram on what creatures come out of what color, like wormhole. She references people telling her about the Part 1 protagonist on Twitter, but she says he hasn't written anything yet, so she kind of starts to question if she's stuck in the past, maybe. Later, a portal of green light opens in the house and another light appears in the basement, followed by loud shrieking. Her and Max are able to make it outside to try to figure out how they're going to find their mom. They walk a bit and decide to take a shortcut to the police station. But nearby in a retention pond, this fucking thing decides to emerge and chase them. This huge prehistoric gator thing crawls out and it chases them off, but they're able to escape. And they see more of these dinosaurs that are taller and, surprisingly, they're just scurrying away in a panic. But Bailey and Max are then forced to hide in a drainage tunnel since one of the raptor birds, the kind that killed their dad, appears, and they return to the rat pond and the raptor fights with the gator thing and it's able to scare the raptor off. During this whole ordeal, however, Bailey dropped the gun, so she says she'll get it again in the morning. Once morning breaks, Bailey and Max make their way to the beach again, but on their way they stumble across more bodies, such as this one lying by a tree. Once they make it to the beach, in the ocean there's multiple lights under the water, and then an absolutely massive light that's miles long appears in the sky. and it fries Max's phone camera. But Bailey's able to get this photo of it. After some running back and forth due to the lights and mysterious deep voices on megaphones speaking in a weird language, Max and Bailey are back on the beach again. They spot something in the water, which appears to be kind of like a mosasaur or maybe a whale, and the mosasaur is chasing what looks like to be kind of like a Loch Ness monster, and holy shit, I think the mosasaur won. After dragging away the plesiosaur deeper into the ocean, Bailey and Max hang out and listen to a mysterious humming noise that they've been hearing ever since they first arrived on the beach, but Bailey has always described it as calming. I highly doubt that this humming in this situation can be a good sign, but you do you, girl.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Out in the distance, this huge green rainbow creature thing that is at least 300 feet tall and is the source of the singing or humming noise begins gliding across the surface of the water. It looks like a dragon at first, but then it changes shape to what looks like a kind of like a sauropod. Max begins walking along the beach towards it without saying a word, so Bailey follows him. In the far distance by the weird light creature, an actual dinosaur walks onto the beach, a sauropod. Max and Bailey are in awe and excited, like a scene out of Jurassic Park.
They do move in herds.
But also like Jurassic Park, these fucking raptors just crashed the party, and it turns out that the one from earlier followed them to the beach.
Alan.
It hits them with the "you got games on your phone" stance, and it begins tossing around a child's corpse with another raptor. Kinda like Pennywise when he's taunting the kids with that half-eaten arm. Max shoots and misses like a nerd, and the raptors begin taunting them and imitating the gunshot noise. Devious bastards. So Bailey and Max have to head into the ocean since the raptors refuse to get in the water, and they have to tread water for a few hours until the raptors leave. They spend the night doing this, and by the next morning the huge green one has left for some reason, and Max realizes that the body that they saw earlier with the raptors was a classmate of his, CJ. But after this whole ordeal, they decide to raid a nearby store for food because they're famished. On the way to the store, they come across this strange drawing of a Fallout power armor looking guy. In the store, they're able to find some more food, but in the process, a loud crash is heard, and they find a ceiling fan fell from the ceiling with a woman and a rope around her neck. Bailey and Max return to the beach and they see the globe uniform people, but they leave on buggies before Bailey and Max can reach them or hear them. Max and Bailey find a journal left behind by the strange men with drawings of all kinds of different dinosaurs and dates when the creatures were encountered. Max and Bailey follow the buggy from a distance and notice that it's hauling this huge crepe thing behind it. And on top of all that, some of the men look like the one man in the drawing that they found on the sidewalk. Along the beach, the kids find more bodies of other prehistoric creatures, including a mosasaur, which is smaller than the one they saw earlier. But then, a man in similar armor to the one that they saw in the drawing, he begins shouting and waving to the kids in the distance. But he has a voice modifier, and he's speaking Spanish. He begins approaching them, and they run away from him, and he gives up his chase, but it seems like he calls something in on his phone afterwards. Bailey sees something on the beach that really scares her and Max enough for them to go hide in a nearby store, but she doesn't specify what they saw that scared them so bad. Inside the store, she realizes that the time reads 11:34 p.m., but the sun is barely setting, and they can hear helicopters outside, and they can see the WEHO logo on the choppers. The store is surprisingly stocked still, but the power is only half on. Wait a minute, is that a Malk I see? Malk? Moving on, Max spots a weird creature thing in the store with them. It has these weird bat web things, a bunch of pointy legs, and it's glowing. It then twitches and poof, it's gone. The power went out and now there's two of these weird things fighting and they're making a ruckus in the store now. Bailey and Max leave the store and they see this old guy who's seen better days. Sir, you can't park here. Night hits and they find another store to sleep in and hunker down in. During the night, more of those armored men can be heard outside, searching for something. But then, sounds of... I don't even know what kind of noise that is. following morning, Bailey finds multiple bodies of the WEHO guys, their armor shattered and broken, their bodies skinned and gnawed away at. Following this, Bailey gives an update that Max is now partially paralyzed by being tricked by a raptor mimicking a baby, and then it grabbed him and slammed him into the ground multiple times. Bailey was able to shoot it, but now she has to carry Max everywhere they go. Max fades in and out of consciousness, so Bailey figures that maybe the WEHO people can help them, since on that paper that they found earlier, the incident report, one of the objectives said rescue people. So they head back to the beach again, but there's no sign of any of the armored men. But Max is awake again, although he's in debilitating pain. To pass the time, Bailey carries Max around the beach and they find seashells together, which Max calls out to her from her back, and she says it feels like old times again for once. Max's condition gets worse and he's unable to feed himself or drink himself, so Bailey has to do it by hand for him. But then they spot a group of people with some armored guys as well, and they're able to wave them down. An armored man approaches them with a voice modifier, and he tells them to calm down and to come with him, since, quote-unquote, the ruptures are only getting worse, kid. The armored man carries Max, and they follow the group to the location of where a supposed helicopter is supposed to be. While walking, Bailey decides to ask the armored man what the incident report paper was that they found earlier, and he coldly stares at her and says it's not her concern. She asks about their mom, and the man doesn't say much at first, but she mentions her mom is pregnant, and she notices a shift in his demeanor that doesn't bode well with her. He sends a photo to her phone without saying anything, and the photo's haunting. It's an ultrasound of a baby with what appears to be a crab in the ultrasound with the baby as well. She asks if this is her mom's photo, and the man says not specifically. Bailey asks if the baby will make it, but the man reveals her mother's stomach shrunk completely after this photo was taken. He says she jumped out of the hospital window, ending her life after she found out the truth of their dad, and she thought that the kids were gone as well. She reportedly did this after her stomach had shrunk, but Bailey still doesn't believe the man. She says that they're supposed to be heading to a hidden bunker, since the WEHO's helicopter was supposedly trampled by this creature earlier, which is in complete dark for some reason, and it seems to look like a sauropod from earlier. They head deeper into the bunker, and the one armored man is still carrying Max in his arms. The final photo from Bailey is of an armored man reaching towards her with a syringe in his hand. Her final post says that she, Bailey Kaminsky, thanks everyone for reading her second semester art project for high school. The photos are all drawings, and everything is fine with her life, and none of it was real. God bless. Might delete this later. LOL. Thus ends part 2 of Weird Birds. It's definitely a lot to unpack here, and we're left with more questions than answers, and it's an unfortunate end for Bailey and Max. As to what the WEHO or WEHO people did to them, we don't know. But from the final post, it's clear that they want this entire incident covered up, and are posing as Bailey to try to calm people down from thinking that any of this story is real. You know, typical government cover-up stuff. You know, the average Tuesday. But like the first part, this story relies heavily on the images and photos created by Arkisukis, and they are well crafted and really make you feel like you're looking at something real at times. Not to mention the props made and the details of the dinosaurs really make them creepy and almost this unnatural force present in the story. The point of view being from these two kids also provides a unique take on an already complicated and confusing situation that someone would find themselves in. It helps cement the story as something more believable and enduring, since you want these kids to make it out and to see their family again. As I said before, dinosaur horror isn't anything new, but with the use of Twitter/X, the way the story is presented, it really invests you, and it offers something unique on a well-known horror subgenre. What do you all think from Weird Birds Part 2? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it better or worse than the first part? Let us know in the comments. please be sure to go check out Archisukis' socials and Axe account. He absolutely deserves all the praise for this well-crafted story and visuals. Weird Birds does have a part 3, which we will be covering very soon on the channel, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. But thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video, and be sure to check out our other videos, socials, Discord, etc., all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and I thank you all for stopping by, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. See ya!
Fair enough. See you around.